Hello everybody, welcome back to All DIY, No Skills. So today we're going to talk a little bit about sprinklers. As you remember, last week we did a fall overseed. Now, one of the important parts of overseeding your lawn is to make sure that you keep it watered. Currently, I have a timer set up to my faucet with 2 hoses running and sprinklers in 2 locations. Now this gives me decent coverage. Sprinkler pattern, something like that. But the issue is that I get no coverage in the corners. This actually overlaps quite a bit more. So I get no coverage in the corners. And then over here in the middle, there's too much coverage because of the overlap of the sprinklers. So one remedy to this would be to put a 3rd sprinkler. So what I'm thinking about doing is having a sprinkler on either corner of the lawn and then one in the middle. Again, we'll run to a timer, run the hoses, and in theory, this should give us adequate coverage, side to side, front to back, and then this sprinkler in the middle should be able to cover what's left. The problem that I have is that the water pressure coming out of my faucet is strong enough to run 2 sprinklers by themselves. But if I add a 3rd sprinkler in line, the water pressure drops, and then I have terrible coverage. So at Home Depot, I saw this little guy, and apparently it's a 4-outlet hose timer. And in theory, should be able to program up to 4 zones. We won't need all 4 zones because I could cover 2 sprinklers off of 1 zone with the water pressure I have, and have a 3rd sprinkler going off a 2nd zone. So we'll go through a little bit of a setup, see how the timing works, see how the coverage is, see if the zones go. Apparently this one you could also control from your phone, so we'll check that out. If there is an issue with setting this up and the water now function and the zone's not working correctly, plan B, we'll get 2 of these simple hose timers. We have our house faucet going here. Actually, what we'll do, scratch that. We're gonna have, so plan B, we have our house faucet. We'll attach a Y, and then we'll attach 2 of these simple timers and create our own zoning. So one of these timers could run 2 of the sprinklers, and then the other timer will be for a 3rd sprinkler. I'll program these so that these, for instance, let's just say 2 of them turn on at 5 o'clock. And then once this one is finished, let's say we do a 20-minute watering, have this one turn on at 5:20. This way we staggered the times, but we still get the coverage throughout the whole lawn. So let's play around with this guy first. I'll show you how I set it up. I'm just going to be running a couple of simple cheap hoses. I picked these up at Walmart. They were like $7 for a 50 foot. And I don't need them to be heavy duty or anything because they're just going to be laying on the ground, covered by mulch in my mulch bed. And the sprinklers that we're using are these old school mechanical sprinklers. Now, these actually throw pretty good. I have about over 25 feet from my house to the sidewalk. And the ones I currently have set up, they actually managed to spray onto the sidewalk. These are very simple to operate. Hose goes in here. In theory, you should be able to chain them up, but when I tried this last year and I had 2 of them chained up on one side and a 3rd one on the other, it just killed all the water pressure. The way these work, the water turns on, starts coming out the spout, and this little flapper moves back and forth and turns the spout. They also have these little clips. So once, you see this little piece over here? Once this turns to where you have the clip set, it stops its rotation and goes back the other way until it hits the other clip. Now these clips you could set the arc of your spray, so you could have a more narrow spray. You could have a wider spray pattern. Or if you lift this little clip up, this thing will just rotate 360 and it'll spray in a circle. With these, you could also, there's this little flap over here. You could raise it or lower it to control the distance. So if you lower this down, when your water comes out, it's going to hit this and it's not going to spray to its maximum distance. We want to leave it up, get the maximum distance out of it, and hopefully this timer and the zoning setup works and we can get this zone set up where we have 2 sprinklers on either side running at the same time, and then a 3rd sprinkler in the middle providing coverage. All right, let's get to work and I'll show you guys in the next video.